The shocking twist in the 2024 presidential race left everyone's jaws on the floor. That's right, we're talking about Kamala Harris. Why did Kamala Harris lose to Donald Trump? This election was filled with drama, surprises, and significant implications for the future of American politics. So, we're breaking it down into 4 key reasons that shaped this pivotal moment in American history. Let's get started. Chapter 1: The Economic Landscape. First up, let's talk about the economy. Now, we all know that economic issues can make or break a campaign, right? In 2024, inflation was soaring, and many voters felt the pinch in their wallets. By the time voters headed to the polls, inflation had surged to levels not seen in decades. Prices for essential goods, such as the groceries, gasoline, and housing, had skyrocketed, causing considerable distress among American families. Harris attempted to present herself as a champion for working-class Americans, emphasizing policies aimed at providing relief amidst rising living costs. She proposed measures such as banning price gouging and promoting housing affordability, while then advocating for tax reforms that would benefit middle and lower-income families. However, these efforts often fell flat in the face of voters' immediate concerns about inflation and economic stability. Polls consistently indicated that a majority of voters trust Trump more than in Harris when it came to handling economic matters. This sentiment was particularly strong among blue-collar workers who felt abandoned by traditional Democratic policies. Harris struggled to connect her campaign message with the immediate concerns of voters. While she aimed to address issues like climate change and healthcare reform, these topics often took a back seat to pressing economic worries. According to a survey conducted by the Kaiser Family Foundation, 36% of female voters cited economic concerns as their top priority, far surpassing other issues like reproductive rights or healthcare access. Harris's failure to effectively communicate how her policies would improve the economy left many voters skeptical about her leadership capabilities. Chapter 2: Campaign Strategy Missteps. The second major factor contributing to Harris's loss was her campaign strategy, or lack thereof. Following Biden's announcement that he would not seek re-election, Harris had only 4 months to ramp up her campaign efforts. This limited time frame severely hampered her ability to build a cohesive strategy and connect with voters on a personal level. This rushed timeline forced her to flip-flop on key issues. One moment, she would advocate for progressive immigration reform. The next, she would suggest stricter border controls. This inconsistency made it difficult for voters to understand where she truly stood on critical issues. Harris's decision to limit media engagements early in her campaign gave off an impression that she wasn't ready for the spotlight. Voters want candidates who can think on their feet. Harris's campaign also struggled with messaging. Instead of presenting a clear vision for her presidency, much of her strategy revolved around portraying Trump as a threat to democracy and women's rights. There were missed opportunities in messaging that could have helped Harris connect better with voters. For example, she could have emphasized her achievements as vice president more effectively by talking about initiatives she led or supported that directly impacted people's lives. Moreover, Harris could have benefited from more direct engagement with voters through town halls or community events where she could address their concerns firsthand. Chapter 3: Association with Biden. Let's dive into Kamala Harris's association with President Biden and how it impacted her campaign. While loyalty is admirable in politics, it can also be a double-edged sword, especially when you're tied to an unpopular administration. Harris struggled to carve out her own identity separate from Biden. When asked how her presidency would differ from his, she didn't have a clear answer. This left many voters scratching their heads, wondering, what exactly does Kamala stand for? In a time when voters were looking for authenticity and clear distinctions between candidates, her inability to articulate a unique vision made it hard for many to connect with her. Biden's approval ratings were another big factor here. As his popularity took a nosedive due to ongoing economic challenges and political polarization, Harris found herself tied to an administration that many voters viewed unfavorably. Issues like inflation, rising gas prices, and ongoing debates over immigration reform were front and center in the minds of voters. As these challenges mounted, Harris's association with Biden became a liability rather than an asset. This association made it difficult for Harris to present herself as a fresh alternative when she was seen as part of the current administration's struggles. It's like trying to sell yourself as the new and improved version of a product that people aren't happy with. Not an easy task, folks. Voters often look for change, especially in times of discontent, and Harris's close ties to Biden made it challenging for her to position herself as that change. Chapter 4: Demographic Challenges. And finally, let's discuss demographics. The Democratic coalition that propelled Biden to victory in 2020 didn't hold as strong for Harris in 2024. She saw significant drops in support among crucial groups like the Black and Latino voters compared to Biden's numbers just 4 years prior. While she made history as the first woman of color nominated by a major party, that didn't guarantee her votes from every community. For example, exit polls showed that she won about 86% of Black voters. It is still strong and was lower than Biden's nearly universal support among Black Americans in 2020. This drop can be attributed to several factors, including the disappointment over the pace of change on issues like police reform and economic equity. Latino support was particularly concerning. Harris only managed to snag about 53% of Latino votes overall, a big drop from Biden's impressive performance 4 years earlier, when he secured around 65%. Many Latino men leaned toward Trump this time around, a stark contrast from previous elections where they predominantly supported Democratic candidates. This shift highlights the importance of addressing specific concerns within diverse communities, rather than assuming loyalty based on party affiliation. The Democratic Party has always relied on building coalitions among diverse groups. However, Harris's inability to maintain these alliances proved detrimental in key battleground states where every vote counts. For example, states like Arizona and Georgia, where demographic shifts have played a significant role, became critical battlegrounds in the election. The failure to effectively engage with Latino voters in these areas could have serious implications for the Democratic Party's strategy moving forward. What do you think? Did I miss anything? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more political insights and analysis. Thank you for tuning in.